This is the AOC Sports High School Football Preview Show.
Week 4 of the high school football season here. Friday night rivals, Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, and hard to believe we're a month in.
We are a month in, and we've got the Battle of Old Shell Road, which usually is at the end of the season, or has been in the past, not last year, but we were so used to that being our final regular season game, maybe a little nip in the air, but right smack in the middle of September, here we go.
Yeah, and it's a region game now for St. Paul's and UMS, so we'll talk with both coaches here tonight. But let's go back last week quickly to Saraland and McGill. Looks like McGill's got things under control. Fourth quarter, Saraland scores 22 unanswered points to come back and win the game. And the game had a lot of everything, but I don't think we saw it ending that way, including the big stop and the big hit to end things on the last play of the game.
It was really a great ending to the game. McGill's up 25-10. You think in high school football in Mobile, a couple of teams that seem to know each other, you're pretty secure at that point. But Saraland got the running game going a little bit, play action, and got the ball into the hands of Williams, their big playmaker. 2 big touchdowns. He also dropped one.
Yep.
They might have been going for 30 in a row.
You're right.
But they win the game, and of course, a great defensive play at the very end.
Yep. Gabe Reynolds, I think he grew up a little bit on
I think so.
Friday Night Lights, quarterback there for Saraland. McGill 0-2, and I think trying to find their way here early in the season. All right, so we'll talk more about our matchup. We have both coaches here, Coach Mask and Coach Curtis, a couple of Hall of Famers tonight. Dr. Patton here with us as well, as always, from Alabama Orthopedic Clinic, and we've talked ACL before, but another common injury you see, both not just for athletes, but also more regular everyday folks, the meniscus. Tell us, kind of, first of all, what is the meniscus?
The meniscus is a C-shaped cartilage. There's 2 of them in the knee, one in the inside and one on the outside of the knee, the medial and lateral meniscus, and it's a cushioning of the knee. It helps stabilize the knee a little bit, but it's a cushion. And it can be injured in a cutting injury, a twisting, or even squatting down. It can cause a little tear to it that causes people pain and catching.
So is it two? They sit this way or they sit this way?
Sit like this.
Got it. There's the cushioning part. Okay.
So you have the injury. What is it necessarily you got to go under the knife, or are there other options?
No, not necessarily. Depends on how bad the tear is, where the tear is located, and what the dysfunction caused in the patient. So some real small tears may be treated conservative, but if it's a significant tear, then it's usually treated arthroscopically through 2 little poke holes. Go in there and either trim it up or put stitches in it.
Kind of runners deal with it a lot?
Runners can. And we've joked in the past to even getting off the sofa. You never know.
So I'm in peril.
Yeah. Well, this wobbly bar stool here, we could tear a meniscus coming off of this one. So, but when you say it's cartilage, so when you talk about the ACL, you're always talking about how to prevent it, strengthening things and all that. Like, can you do something to?
Well, it's a little less studied on that part. What can happen is, once again, core strengthening, keeping the muscles strong. Working on balance, and so there's not such much torque on the meniscus. Can help, but it depends. It's usually also associated, if you do go tear the ACL, the instability can make it harder on the meniscus.
You mentioned balance, like that's a big thing. Like you notice, like as you get older, like balance becomes could be more of a challenge. Like what are things we can all do, because as we get like falling, if you can prevent the fall, that's going to take care of a lot of
prevent the break.
Yeah, right. What can we do? Just simple things to help improve our balance.
Well, balance is a lot about the core stability, muscle strengthening, and there's a lot of reasons why when you get older people fall from vision trouble. But for the younger people, it's keeping the strength, core stability, and they're working on balance.
Doctor, once you have say there's a procedure after the injury, now you got to rehab. You got to do something. You can't just lay on the sofa. What does that look like, and how long does that take?
Usually for the meniscus itself, if there's no other concomitant injuries, it's 4 to 6 weeks of rehab. A lot of it you do it on your own. You go to therapy once or twice a week, and then you do the exercises at home.
So do that to balance, take care, core strength. But like core is for almost everything you deal with. Like strengthening your core is something we all should be working on that for our everyday lives, right?
Right. It definitely can help you prevent injury, and and you're working on back for reducing back pain also.
Yeah, core.
That sounds good.
Core strength. Need to do it. Thanks, Doc.
Doctor's in the house.
Yeah, we'll see you more later on this season as I'm sure we'll talk more injuries and how to prevent them here at Alabama Orthopedic Clinic. All right, tonight, Battle of Old Shell Road, as Dan mentioned, UMS and St. Paul's 5A region matchup. There haven't been a ton of region games in this history, but now they're both in the same region. I'm going to ask if it doesn't feel like you could add anything more to the rivalry because it's been so great, but there is a little more on the line tonight with it being a region game.
There is, and these are a couple of teams that are both ranked in the top 10 of 5A, so they're recognized throughout the state as really good programs. Something's got to give.
All right, we'll preview that matchup coming up tonight here on Friday Night Rivals. Steve Mast, the head coach of the St. Paul Saints, joins us right after this. Friday Night Rivals tonight. We are at UMS, as it's known as the Battle of Old Shell Road. UMS playing host to St. Paul's here tonight. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Bo Carrington from the St. Paul Saints, and head coach Steve Mask with us here as we get ready for this game. And Dan and I were just talking. This game certainly doesn't need anything else. It's a great rivalry. Two fan bases that certainly the families know each other and stuff. But because it is a region game now, there's a little more on the line because it is a region game, right?
Yeah, absolutely it does. But I think if we were playing for marbles and we're playing each other, it'd be on the line. So,
right.
It adds a little bit more meaning to it. At the end of the day, I think that stuff will take care of itself. But it is UMS and St. Paul, so I think that has a lot to do with the atmosphere and everything. Because these schools have been playing 42, 43 years now, and 21 and 21. I think that's a pretty good rivalry.
That is the definition of a rivalry. Right there.
It's only a rivalry when it's like that.
Right.
So,
talk about your team's start and finally getting the big win last week against Williamson, and now psychologically, emotionally, where your team is to get that win.
Well, I'm not going to alibi because we don't do that. What did the old NFL coach said you are, what your record says you are. But go look and see who we've lost to. We've lost the number 1 team in 6A. We lost the number 9 team in 6A on the road in Birmingham, and then we came back with a really good Williamson team who was ranked in 4A. So it is what it is. We played the same 3 teams last year, a little bit different reverse, but I think we've gotten better every week, and the competition's only going to help us. But Dan, you said a mouthful. We needed to win in the worst way, and we figured out a way to get one. And I think that says a lot about the character of our players, of knowing what they had to do, and they did it.
Before we saw you a couple of weeks ago, you said, we are young in some spots. You said, but we're going to be better. We're going to get better as the season goes along. And we were talking, I think, last week with Coach Kelly. We said, we have young kids out there. The only way they got to get that Friday night experience. It's not, you can't get it on the practice field.
Well, I like the word experience more than young because everybody gets mad at all high school kids are young.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of kids that haven't played, and quite frankly with you, Jim, we've moved some kids around since the first week. And so you don't know how they're going to react until you actually go play in a game. And we saw some kids that might not have been ready to play in certain spots, but were good enough to play other spots, and we moved them over there. So, you'd like to have a game or two against some people that may not be of the caliber of a
McAdory
Spanish on the road, but. You play who will play you.
Yep.
And we're not ever going to shy away from playing good people. And we would like to play somebody that we could have maybe, not experiment's not the right word, but been able to be good enough to still come out. But we didn't, and we're better week 4 than we were week 1. I know that for a fact.
Speaking of playing people, you've been playing Bo Carrington since he was a sophomore.
Well,
there's something about him you must like.
Well, first of all, I like him, period. Great family. His dad B and mom Scooter are just super people, and his grandparents on both sets of those. And what a really good football player, But a great student in the classroom. He's everything that you'd want out of a high school football player and more. And I'm just dang glad that we got number 9 on our team. Coach Bryant used to have an old saying many years ago, Bo, that don't worry about him, Leroy would get him. Well, don't worry about him, Bo will get him. So it's the same. I say it all the time, don't worry about him, Bo will get him. So
no pressure, but it's all on.
Of course, Bo don't know who Leroy Jordan and Barry Bryant was anyway, but you remember that, Dan?
Oh, yes, I do.
Leroy would get him.
Yeah, Leroy.
Yeah.
So just talk about the tough stretch going through. Obviously, you had the experience winning the state championship last year, but the tough stretch, and sometimes you got to rely on players like yourself to not only on the field, but to make sure, all right, guys, let's keep it together. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this.
Yeah, it was definitely tough. We coming off 15-0 season, you know, we weren't used to losing. We weren't used to losing. I think everyone's ego was a little too high, you know. But week 4 now, I think we're ready. I think we got the right mindset now.
You got an opponent that's got your attention too in UMS-Wright. You know some of those guys, huh?
Oh yeah, a lot of them were my buddies. Really excited to go out there and play them Friday.
It really is a unique rivalry. It's not just that the schools are so close geographically, but I mean, all the kids know each other, and like you said, friends. You know, families. Some families, you know,
Coaches.
Yeah, Dad went to UMS, Mom went to St. Paul's, vice versa. There's just a lot of that. So I mean, everybody knows everybody in this rivalry, right?
Yes, I mean. That's the fun part about it, you know. You get to play against your friends, talk smack for a week, and then whoever wins gets bragging rights.
What have you seen looking at UMS on film as you get ready for the game this week?
They're going to be hard, you know. They always are. Every year they're going to play their best, and I think we're going to play our best, and it should be a fun game. Should be a good game. Yeah,
you know a little bit about the guy you're going against. I mean,
a little bit. Yeah. I do. I know a little bit about him, and. Consequently, he knows a little bit about me. Some of the things we know about each other we can't talk about on air, but we both have a general idea of what we're both going to do. And at the end of the day, it comes down to fundamentals, blocking and tackling, and we know how well coached they are. He's won about 5,000 games. Of course, he's been coaching. He came over to Mayflower, so he's had been there long enough to get us those wins. But you know, we have nothing but respect for Terry and his staff at UMS.
Yeah, we always love doing the game. Love the relationship that you two have. We'll talk a little bit about that during the game as well. Just because it is just the friendship that you two have had. Before you were at St. Paul's, even it goes way back. That's one of the great stories we'll be telling all throughout the game tonight. All right, when we come back, we will talk about Coach Curtis, and Coach, we'll let you defend yourself. It was not the Mayflower. That is not how he came over. We'll let him defend himself as we get ready for tonight's matchup. It's UMS and St. Paul's tonight, right here on Friday Night Rivals. Getting ready for the battle, Old Shale Road. We just heard about St. Paul's. The Saints on the road tonight, coming to UMS to take on the UMS-Wright Bulldogs.
Like 1.6 miles,
yes,
something like that? On the road.
Not much mileage. Not earning a lot of mileage on this road trip. Terry Curtis, head coach, Holden Aaron, defensive lineman here for the Bulldogs as well. Coach, we were just talking about it with Steve Mask. And I know we've said this before, but like you talked about it even at media days this year, that one thing you really hope doesn't get lost or needs to get a little better is the camaraderie among coaches, even those coaches that you're competing with. You're a little concerned about that, aren't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, it's changed so much. You know, it used to be kind of like a fraternity, like you was in college or whatever, and it's gotten away from that. You go to clinics or you go to conventions now, and you know, you'll see a few of the guys, but for the most part, they do whatever, and they go back to their rooms and hang out, and you don't see them anymore. They don't get out there and network and do things, and you know, yeah, it worries me a little bit. And you know, I just think you know, I think I use the expression that, you know, somebody will beat you or you'll beat them, and Lord, they won't speak to you for a year or whatever. And we're all in this together, you know. And at the end of the day, you go out there, you compete. Your guys do the best they can. They do the best they can. You win some, you lose some. But when it's over, you go out there and you hug each other's neck and say, hey, man, good luck. And if you need anything, give me a call. And you move on. Does your
perspective change a little bit as you've been in coaching for
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When I first started, those guys, you know, they were fierce competitors. But at the same time, you know, even as a young coach, when I'm watching the guys that I work for, and this guy would have whipped us, and I'm thinking, kind of like some guys now, I'm going, why in the world would he be being so nice to that guy? You know, when he just whipped our tail like crazy, and yet you're telling him what he needs to do and what he may need to do to get better and everything else. But that's just the way those guys were back in the day. And I know Steve been around, and all those guys. I mean, it's just different now, where everybody thinks it's a secret. You know, X and O's. Don't get me wrong. Everybody knows X and O's.
Yeah, right.
Nobody really knows anybody else. The ones that win are the ones that get their kids. They are better taught. They're better technicians. They're better leverage players, and they play for their coach. Not necessarily X and O's going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, we've occasionally
Now, don't get me wrong. Better players will win games.
yeah.
Jimmy's and Joe's do help, right?
Yeah, those do help.
We've occasionally in 20 years seen a few teams that didn't know their X's and O's, but and some of them played you.
Yeah.
But in any event, you've won a bunch of games. Congratulations on that. Talk about though the way that you approach your job, if you want to call it a job every day, getting a chance to coach these guys every day and what it means to you.
Well, it's just unbelievable. I mean, there's, we probably don't have a college prospect on our team as far as big time, as far as a 4-star, 3-star, 1-star. But yet these guys come to practice every day. They work their butts off. They grind all summer, all off season, 6 o'clock workouts. And you look at them sometimes, you go, why in the world would you do this? And they do it for the love of football,
right.
and that's the only reason that you can explain it, because there's no other reason that they would do what they do and go through if they didn't love the game.
Maybe they love each
and that
other.
makes it worthwhile.
Yeah.
And love each other.
That makes it worthwhile.
Yeah.
And they like to, and when we get a bunch of them, why are you playing?
Yeah.
Well, or why do you want to come back out when you hadn't played in a year or two? Well, all my friends are playing.
Yep.
I want to be with my friends.
Right.
Yeah.
So they come out there and go through the grind just like them. I go, are you crazy, man? You've got the life. You've got all the girls. You've got all the fun. You can do all this, and you want to come out here because your friends right here.
That's awesome.
That's not a good reason, but yet they do it.
Yeah, you get to have a little fun too. Holding Aaron here with us as well. But when Terry talked about that, but like when you come to play football at UMS, like that's kind of expected that's the way you're going to approach being a football player at UMS. That culture has been set for a long time, and certainly as long as he's been there. But it's expected. That's the way it's going to be, right?
Yes, sir. Ever since we were kids at UMS, like I've been with the same 100 people like for like 14 years now, playing football, like hanging out on the weekends, the same guys every weekend. So it's kind of a brotherhood, especially at football. To be with the same guys. We have a great time out there. So
how about the game against St. Paul's? What are you thinking as you get ready for this game?
Same thing. Like we're playing a team full of our friends, so it'll be really fun. We're excited about it, and I think we're ready.
St. Paul's the winner last year, so and that was a crazy game.
Great game, yeah.
So we got one teeing up here in just a bit.
Yeah, we can't wait. So good job, be out there tonight, and we will call you just by your. We won't change any pronunciations of your last name during the game. I promise, we won't, unless I screw it up, and there's a chance that.
But don't get mad with him.
Okay.
No, I won't get mad at him. I don't want him mad at me.
I'm
or
the
his
only one
parents.
that uses both names.
Correct. Got it. Paul and Aaron going to be there. Stay there. You're going to be here for the last segment, answering questions with Heather. Coach Curtis, you're we always love when we get to have you on. Love it. He's been in our corner since absolutely day one. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for him right now. Kickoff is coming up in about 15 minutes. Heather's going to talk to Bo and also Holden, and Dan and I are going to get ready for tonight's broadcast here on Friday Night Rivals. UMS and St. Paul's coming up from UMS.
To the AOC pregame show. We are here at the Alabama Orthopedic Clinic here for this Friday night, getting ready for this Week 4 matchup and getting excited for it. But before we move on to these two players that I've got here, we've got to go on to our Wendy's Giant of the Week. A huge congratulations to Gavin Vesey. He's a defensive back and special teams player for McGill-Tulane Catholic High School, this week's Wendy's Giant of the Week. Do you want to be this week's Wendy's Giant of the Week? If you're a junior or a senior who plays on the football team at any of the high schools in our Alabama viewing area, you could win. Log on to UTV 44 and click on the contest page to be entered for a Wendy's Giant of the Week prize pack. Pretty good stuff. Rules and regulations do apply. All right, I've got Holden Aaron here, and then I've got Bo Carrington as well. Big matchup for you guys. Before we get into all the fun stuff, I've got to ask, region play here, a big rivalry. What does it feel like? You're senior. What does it feel like being in here your senior year?
Oh, I'm excited. I think Friday, when Friday comes, I'm going to be nervous. But, it's my last time getting to play with all my friends. It's the last one. Whoever wins this one,
got to
it's
make it
bragging rights
count.
Forever, yeah.
That's right. Bragging rights forever. Got to make it count. What about you?
Yeah, kind of like you said, this is the last guaranteed chance we will play them. We might in the playoffs later on, but we got to make the best of it and hopefully just play as hard as we can.
Absolutely. All right, you guys did great with the first question, did great with Jim and Dan. Now you get to have some fun with me. I've got some random questions for people to get to know you just a little bit more. So kind of dust off all the jitters and everything. It's just me, so we're going to have some fun. Are we ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your favorite Disney movie. Go, Bo.
I'm gonna go with Frozen.
Frozen.
Yes.
Okay, why Frozen?
I got 2 little sisters,
Okay,
and so when that came out, it was all over my house.
so
I think it's kind of stuck.
you
with
had to
me.
be indoctored into
Yeah.
it. What about you?
Mine's definitely Princess and the Frog.
Really?
Yes.
I'm very impressed.
Thank
Why
you.
Princess and the Frog?
I don't know. I just kind of like the New Orleans swamp
Yeah.
feeling and all that. You know,
Yeah.
my family loves that city, so it kind of just
The good Cajun vibes
fits
and
in.
everything? I love it. Okay, your dream celebrity date. And I am off the table.
Okay, I gotta change. I'm gonna go with Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston. All right, what about you?
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yes.
Where would you take them?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Like dinner and a movie? Like,
I would take her somewhere out to dinner on the causeway maybe, and
I like that.
sit on the porch or sit on the deck of the causeway.
Yeah, and enjoy the ocean. I like that. What about you?
I'd probably like fly her out somewhere fancy.
Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's Margot
Yeah,
Robbie.
I mean, it's Margot Robbie. You got to be fancy.
Yeah, you kind of have to. All right, which actor would play you guys in a movie?
Ooh. Probably like Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Very similar.
Very, very
Yes.
similar. Yeah, about to say.
Kind of hard to tell apart.
Exactly. What about you?
Adam Sandler probably.
Adam
I like to
Sandler.
joke around.
Two very different ends of the spectrum here. I love it. Okay, NFL season officially kicked off earlier this week, but big NFL Sunday. Who's your favorite team?
You know, like I'm supposed to like root for the Cowboys because my family's from Dallas,
Yeah.
or my mom's side's from Dallas. But
And
I like
also,
watching
I'm
the
here,
Saints.
so
Yes,
you
and you
yeah.
are too.
Yeah.
But I like the Saints. I like
Okay.
watching the Saints.
Were you a Drew Brees fan?
I was.
Okay, he's on the broadcast side.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now you get to watch him there. What about you?
I knew you said we couldn't pick the same answers.
You could. Well, you can on
But-
this one. I'll let
yeah,
it slide.
yeah,
You can on this one.
I'm a Saints fan.
Okay, you are a Saints fan. All right. So are we excited for the big quarterback play that we're going to see?
Yeah, hope it works out.
Yeah, fingers crossed. That's always that's always a given here. Okay, your favorite season. I'll let you go.
Summer.
Summer.
Summer too.
So really, the summer workouts kind of triumph everything else. Really, to
It's
get you
fun.
started. Okay, and last question, guys. What is your favorite hype song before you go out on the field? Before you go out, what's your favorite song that you listen to?
Blue Notes by Meek Mill.
Okay.
Oh, probably like Ford Doug Gang by 42 Doug.
Love that. All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoy it, and we are going to be on the field now. We hope everybody has a wonderful Friday, and be sure to watch Jim and Dan right now at St. Paul's and UMS-Wright kickoff.